I just beat Fatal Frame 2 Crimson Butterfly Remake, and the Fatal Frame series has been a franchise that I wanted to play for a while. So when I saw that they were making a remake for what a lot of people regarded as the best Fatal Frame game, I was very excited to check it out. And now that I beat the game, I would just want to share my thoughts on how I felt about the game as a whole, knowing that obviously this is a faithful adaptation of a game that came out with a lot of things to really modernize the feel of it. And I really did feel that. The game didn't really feel like a game that was made during the PS2 era or whatever era that the game came out in. I felt like the combat was very unique with the different film and taking pictures of the ghosts. I felt like that was really cool. But regardless of combat, how does the game hold up as someone who's playing a Fatal Frame game for the first time? Now, I'll admit, as someone who was obviously excited to jump into Fatal Frame and kind of get a feel of how the world was, the first half of the game was a little difficult for me to get through. And the reason that I say that is because in the beginning of the game, there is so much text and tutorial things that breaks up the flow of the game so much. As you're exploring and you're trying to understand the atmosphere, you just get hit with so many different texts, trying to understand what a special shot is, telling you what the different film reels does. And I could understand it as you're playing the game and you got to understand these features, but having to stop you and making you read through multiple pages of text to try to understand something is kind of a lot. And I feel like as you're first starting to play through the game and you get through the 1 to 2 hour mark, you're still getting like these broken up moments where you're trying to make sense of what you're reading. And I feel like it can get a little overwhelming, especially if this is your first game and you're trying to figure out the right way to take pictures to deal the most damage and switching between them and making sure you're not wasting anything. It just, that part of it kind of lowered my enjoyment of it, just in the beginning half of it. Later on, as the game continues and you're no longer having to deal with all those tutorial menus and reading, and you can actually go through and do bosses and explore, the game does get a lot better. And towards the end, I really enjoyed doing a lot of these side stories, especially the one revolving around one of the twins from the village and actually having to get rid of her sister and a doll being made in her place, and it just kind of being very interesting and very confusing in a way. Now, I don't want to talk about my wants and wishes for this game, knowing that it is like an adaptation of something that came out a while ago. It would definitely be hard to kind of talk about, oh, I wish they did this instead of this, because obviously that wouldn't have been as faithful to the main game. But I will say that the story, it made sense towards the back half of the game, but there's still a lot of questions, and I can understand if they wanted to be more open-ended. I did see that there was a bunch of different endings of the game. I am not sure if I'm going to try to get them all, but I did hear that the main one that you get from your first playthrough is considered the canonical one. But I do wish that maybe the characters spoke more about what was going on to try to get a better understanding of what the actual story was. If you've played the game before, you know you have Mayu, Miyu, you have Sai, Yai. Are they the same people, or is one possessing the other? It was a little confusing to me. My understanding of it was that Sai is Mayu and Miyu is Yai, and maybe they were all ghosts and kind of like redoing this sequence of events in this weird ghost town. But I'm not too sure about it. It could be that Sai was possessing Mayu. I'm sure there's more concrete answers to that for a game that's been out for however long. Just as playing it, it kind of just seemed like the main characters were coming to their own understanding and saying things that they probably shouldn't have been saying, like characters' names, mentioning Sai, mentioning rituals, stuff like that. I'm not too sure about it. It was interesting uncovering the story. There was a lot of reading, but I feel like for someone who enjoys like reading reading and wanting to uncover lore and stuff, that would really make learning about the game a lot more enjoyable for you. I just wish there was more concrete things that was just told through cutscenes versus just how it was set up. But that being said, I enjoyed the game for what it was. I definitely enjoyed it more in the later half. The first half was kind of hard to get through with all the text scrolling and understanding all these different features. But once you understand it and you have like a good flow of combat, the game is very smooth. I enjoyed it. I'm glad I experienced it. But let me know what you think. Have you played this Fatal Frame remake? I know it recently came out alongside the Resident Evil 9 game, so it could have been a little lost between people checking out that game versus this one. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts of the remake? Have you played the original game? How do you feel comparing the two? My only experience with Fatal Frame was from playing Super Smash Brothers and just having that weird camera take pictures and stop you during some of the stages. Let me know your thoughts below. We are at 609 subscribers. I really appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Really appreciate it. Goodbye.